playoffs. Even though the Steelers are at home, Patriots are actually favorites in this one. Here's Tom Brady with more.
I think everyone took this one pretty hard. The locker room's not in very good spirits, and the plane flight home was very quiet. The ability for us to learn from it and move forward is what we're going to need to do, because I think we've always felt that one loss shouldn't become two shouldn't become three, because that's where it really turns into a bad season. So we got to figure out a way to play a lot better, and like I said, I'm confident we'll put together a good plan. I think there'll be a lot of urgency and knowing what we're up against, and we'll go out and try to put together our best game of the year.
Greg, CC talked earlier about what it's like as a player coming off a loss, if you're any more or less fired up going into a game. So I ask you, what should we really expect from Tom Brady and these Patriots coming off what happened to them Monday night against Miami?
I think we'll see a completely different team. I don't think the result will change. And I like what I see with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we gave Mike Tomlin a hard time for looking forward. I did. I think that's something that even if he were to do it again, you just don't do it. I don't think he does it again. But he believed in his team, and I think that willed them to get and be in the position where they are. You look at how they've won, they've trailed, and they look like a team that doesn't fear being behind. And that's a scary team. When you can get down late in the fourth quarter and still have the resiliency to come back and still fight, and their sideline was as calm as it was, I don't think it matters what's going on in New England. Yes, did they come off a devastating loss? Absolutely. They got just out-physicaled. They got just beat up on all facets of the game. I think Tom Brady's going to come in, and I don't think he's going to be as somber looking as we saw him on the sideline. Bill Belichick will have a great game plan. I just think the Pittsburgh Steelers, with what I've seen, even without a critical piece on their defense, Ryan Shazier,
right,
I think they have this all figured out now.
If we have high expectations for Aaron Rodgers, he has a broken collarbone. He's got 13 screws, 2 plates in his shoulder going against Carolina. Why wouldn't we have even greater expectations for the greatest quarterback that we've seen play? So people have to question, what's the expectations of Tom Brady? We expect him to bounce back from the disappointment. He'll be focused. He would have been focused either way. But there's more at stake. When you get to this point in your career with Tom Brady, these type of games are more important. How many more times does he play in a game where he can move the balance of power in the AFC in their favor? Not a whole bunch. Tom probably wants to get to 7 Super Bowls. And talking to Mr. Kraft this offseason, he said, Chris, we're addicted to one thing here in New England. I said, what is that, sir? He said, winning. We're used to being number one, and we're addicted to winning. And we're trying to win as many as we can, as long as we have number 12. That's what he told me this offseason, going to Israel. And I was like, wow, guy got 5 Super Bowl championships, and they're talking about getting 7 of them and trying to get as many as they can. So how many more games will Tom be in like this? All right, Tom is aware of that. Pittsburgh, you're talking about a formidable foe from a fan base, from a franchise base, Ben Roethlisberger, and what they do offensively. So what I look for, the biggest change, ball control. How do we control the ball? How do we win time of possession? Also, they're going to win the turnover margin. That's what they're trying to do. So ball control means either running the ball or the short passing game. I plan on them exploiting the lack of linebacker and linebacker speed that the Pittsburgh Steelers have. Immediately in the game, they will have a different game plan. And if they don't get to Tom and hit him, it's going to be a long day for them. But time of possession is critical. How do they go about that? Do they go about that by trying to run the ball early, or with the short passing game, tight ends, running backs, isolated on those linebackers?
This is one of the biggest regular season games Tom Brady and the Patriots have played in the last 10 years. Period, point blank. Like, you can go down the years. It's very rare for the Pats this late in the year, over the last decade or so, to be playing in a game that against the team that they are fighting with for the 1 seed. Like, it is hard to find bigger regular season games than this one. Typically, teams play, like the Steelers play a ton of big regular season games because they're fighting with the Ravens to win the division. They're fighting with the Bengals to make the playoffs. Like, that hasn't been the Pats' MO. The Pats always make the playoffs. And typically late in the year, you're playing your divisional opponents. Those teams haven't mattered in a long time. So this is as big of a game as we've seen the Pats play outside the playoffs in a long time. We also are seeing Tom Brady coming off not just 1, but 2 bad games. Tom Brady's had 3 bad games this year. Week 1 and the last 2 weeks. He went 10 weeks in the middle with nary a bad game. So if Tom Brady is not aging before our eyes, if Tom Brady is still not just the greatest quarterback ever, which he is, but one of, if not the best quarterback in the league, then everything Chris described is going to happen. Like, if I've just been flatly wrong about this being the year the age catches up to him, we will see it on Sunday. We will see Tom Brady in the biggest regular season game they've played in years against a team where they have a single exploitable weakness. No Ryan Shazier. No team takes advantage of lack of linebacker speed like the Patriots do. No team likes to get their running backs involved in the passing game like the Patriots do. This all sets up for them, and they've dominated the Steelers in recent memory, particularly as far as being able to score on them. So all those things will happen unless what we saw the last 2 weeks was the beginning of a trend, the beginning of the hits piling up, the sacks piling up, and the age catching up. So that's why I'm so excited to watch Sunday. Not just because it's 2 best teams, but it's hard to see a scenario where the Patriots win without Brady being awesome. And we'll see if Brady can channel it in one of the biggest non-playoff games we've seen him play.
Yeah, but let's not get consumed with just Tom Brady. If you look at all the Super Bowl victories, most of those, all of those by 4 points or less, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's a good team. So if the Patriots don't play, you can say what you want about your theory with Tom Brady. Guys don't catch the ball, if guys don't get open. The Patriots have to play great defense. All right? They have to get Pittsburgh off the field. Tom can play a great game. All right? This is a team sport. So let's not get consumed and stuck on, well, this is going to be the barometer to judge if Tom Brady is declining or not. All right? You need some players, too. And that's what the Patriots have done in those 5 Super Bowl victories and all those big playoff wins.
Yeah, when you look at both of these teams, their linebacking core probably the weakest on their defenses.
Yes. If you watch their group of linebackers in this game, it will be hard to have an NFL game where you have less talent on the field for both teams.
Absolutely. And both will get exploited this week. When you look at Le'Veon Bell and what the Pittsburgh Steelers like to do, get him, flank him out, get him in position to where he's matched up with the linebacker, he wins every time. When you look at the New England Patriots, why they will be successful, well, number one, Pittsburgh has struggled in the passing game in their entire secondary. That being number one. Number two, Ryan Shazier means so much to this team defensively because he can cover and because the speed in which he plays with laterally sideline to sideline is unmatched. But without that, New England will have a field day with their running backs coming out of the backfield making plays for Tom Brady. I don't think it's solely about Tom Brady. I think they have to have a great team win in order to beat this Pittsburgh Steelers team, because when I look at the teams, Pittsburgh has a better team. They have more talent, and they may not have the better coach because Bill Belichick has outcoached almost everybody he's ever played against. But I think what Mike Tomlin is doing and what he's done this year has been unorthodox, has been out of character in some degree, but I believe it's propelled the Pittsburgh Steelers to be right where they are.
All right, Greg Jennings, thank you so much. Thanks for hanging out with us. All right, coming up, could we be overlooking the best team in the NBA? Could we be doing that? No. That's next on First Things First. I'm like a lost puppy without my